First, the latest from our science correspondent Martin Stew in Antarctica. With rising temperatures, marine biologists are in a race against time to understand underwater life that is dependent on sub-zero conditions. Unlocking the ocean's secrets can have benefits for all of us, but crashing glaciers and warming waters are putting delicate ecosystems under risk. Scientists say a rise of even 1 degree can severely threaten the chance of species survival. From Adelaide Island, Martin sent this special report.
If you thought the wildlife on the ice was impressive in Antarctica, wait until you look under the water. How many species are there on the seabed?
There's around 20,000 species across Antarctica, and we are still discovering new species every year.
This is the aquarium at Rotherham Station.
I have a brittle star, which I can show you right here.
And these guys survive in what, 0 degrees?
Yeah, so the seawater will get to -1, which will freeze over, and these guys really like the cold.
For decades, marine biologists like Patty have been studying the impact of ice crashing into the ocean. Bergs scour the seabed. Think of them as an underwater equivalent of a forest fire. As the temperature warms, we're seeing more ice calve.
That's detached from underneath.
As scientists film for themselves on this trip.
Oh God.
A little bit of disturbance is good because it makes them stronger, it makes them grow back in numbers. Because it's more frequent, they just don't have the time to grow back.
That's not the only risk. Oceans are warming too. To simulate projected temperature rises, scientists have used heat pads. Most Antarctic seabed species started dying with an increase of just 1 degree or 2.
If the Earth warms up, the first places to disappear are the cold ones, and when they're gone, you can't get them back. The potential to exploit them for biotech and for society and for the benefit is gone. But don't forget also that all those animals that we really care about, the penguins, the birds and the whales, they depend on that ecosystem.
To get the clearest view of exactly what's changing, you need to get under the ice. Divers often have to cut a hole before plunging into the dark, frozen waters.
I'm wearing a fleece-lined undersuit.
Shay is the dive master.
And I wear a dry suit, which should theoretically keep me dry. And then if we wander over here, I have some dry gloves which seal onto the suit. And then they should be airtight. And then on top of that, I have a hood, which I put over my face. And that should maybe allow a little bit of water in, but it should be warm. And then we have the mask, which goes over the hood.
Divers stay tethered to make sure they can always get back out of the hole.
We have voice communications, and then we also have the line pulls as a backup.
Even so, there's always a risk something can go wrong. This is a decompression chamber, which is used in case one of the divers gets the bends. They have to have one here because we're 1,000 miles from hospital, and if things go really wrong, you could be stuck in here for 4.5 hours. Out on the water.
It's an iceberg of this sort of size is likely to be about as deep as the boat is. So if I see that grounded, I know that I can't be going there.
Rocks and ice aren't the only danger. For all the planning, contingency and kit, there's one thing which means diving will definitely be off. Leopard seals.
They're an apex predator, and they feed on the penguins, the birds around here. They will basically feed on anything that you can find. And last week we had a pot of orcas, and they're pestering them as well.
On days like today, technology can help. This is a baited camera trap.
Anything that is caught by the GoPros will be counted and measured back in the UK.
These, of course, are penguins, but more than half of the species down here haven't even been named. It is a race against time to understand and protect them before many are lost.
I think slowly, piece by piece, every single person can make a difference. I'm just one person, but there's loads of researchers across Antarctica and across the world that if we just work together, I think we can do it.
They're certainly willing to go to extremes to do so.
Well, Martin joins us now live from the research ship, the Sir David Attenborough. Martin, just how important can these marine discoveries prove?
I'm back. Well, welcome to the Sir David Attenborough. You know, everything that we learn about the ocean is completely vital because it absorbs a third of the carbon, 90% of the heat, and gives us about 50% of the oxygen, which is why the big equipment we've got here on board, like this one reel of cable, that holds 10 kilometres of cable, is vital because it can lower stuff into the ocean and get us a much better picture. I'm going to lead you through now into the nerve centre. Think the bridge where the captain would be, but it's here. They're able to steer 6 giant cranes. Hopefully you can see through the window here. And this is really what helps the scientists do their job. They're able to lower probes into the ocean, work out temperature, levels of salt. And I kind of fancy myself sitting in the boss's chair. Here we go. This is where you get to control things. And up there you can see all the different rooms. And I'm going to even try, communication is important here. Dave, give us a wave. Oh, look at that. It's even worked with the communications. So this is the nerve centre of everything. And if you do get a quiet moment, well, just have a nosy out the window. We've got a boat out there at the moment, but the view is incredible. It's Borgen Bay, and it is picture postcard perfect.
All right, Martin looking very comfortable there, and Dave as well. Thank you.